Well, hello and welcome everybody. I'm so excited to be here today with you. Today is August 14th, 2019, and this is our Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting. There's just so many exciting things that are going on right now. With everything that's going on in the company and in the team, I can't think of a more exciting time. So I want to show you just a few things. There's some really cool announcements that just rolled out in the last few days. A few things that I want to also review before I bring up Mike. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Everybody should have received an email that looked like this. And there's some really exciting stuff going on. If you didn't receive this email, just let me know. I'd be happy to show it to you or send it over to you. There's a new little promotion with $1,000 winners for top people through Transamerica, top agents. You could see they're looking at points as well as recruiting. That's really exciting. Also, there's a brand new trip, Ireland 2020, the Odyssey trip. You could see that there's going to be 100 couples invited. If you want to know more, there's a poster that you can look at. There's always lots of really cool stuff going on. But I really don't want to take away from the sprint track and what we have going company-wide. I really didn't want to cloud you with too much because everybody should really just be going for it right now. And I just want to mention really quickly, if WFG is ever doing an update, you can always run illustrations and write business through your premier.transamerica.com login. So just kind of keep that in mind. And remember, all of our stuff you can do on any device. So your cell phone, you do all this stuff on your cell phone if you needed to. Anyways, that's really all I have. I can't wait to bring up Mike and see his presentation. So bear with me just for 1 second while I grab him. Thank you.
All right, you guys, almost mid-August. School will be starting pretty soon, which means even more of a normalcy to people's schedules. People are going to get more serious around this time. So make sure that, your activity, your engagement, your communication and conversations with people really picks up during this time as well. This is the help desk right here that we're currently in. So it's a new room. I just kind of show you guys things as they come on. Any of this stuff you guys can use to meet people in until you actually get an office built out. So remember that. You can go to a boardroom, you can go to a lounge, you can set that up and use it as a makeshift office if you need to. What we want to go over today is, I kind of use this as the upfront slide because you want to put as many people in your virtual seats as possible to be able to view your material, whether it's business, whether it's client, whether it's educational, whatever it is that you're putting out. More eyes you have on it, more conversations open, more of a pipeline you build, and the more outcomes that come on the other end. Remember, the outcomes are going to take care of themselves. Potential partner, potential client, or neither. If you build a big enough pipeline on the front end and let the system take care of sorting, you're going to find what you're looking for. The sprint track, guys, I think we understand the importance of the sprint track, but I don't think that you guys understand quite the offer this is. For what Alana and I had to do to get to senior vice president when we first came in, compared to this, it's dramatically different. So take advantage of it, pounce on this. If you've gotten off to a slow start in August, power through the rest of this month and try to set yourself up for a nice September, October. Really go at this, guys, every single day, Saturday and Sunday right now even. Use those days. This is a time period where you want to rest after this is done. You want to power through this, get as much as you possibly can done, and then take a little breather after that. One of the things that we need to make sure that we understand when our partners come in is that we might be comfortable using simple technology, but a lot of people, including a lot of us when we come in, when we originally came in, we weren't comfortable with that. So take a few minutes as a manager to help your new partners do two things. Understand how to join a screen share as well as open a screen share and how to participate or initiate a three-way call. Those two things are very important because if we're a technology company and we can't do a three-way call, we can't do a screen share, it doesn't look very good as far as the appearance of our company as a technology company. So take a few minutes as a manager and help your new partners with simple technology. You were in that position at the beginning. Somebody helped you. Pass it down. Don't just expect people to know the things that you already know. A quick note about securities license. Remember, we're a non-captive company. So on the life side, if somebody's in a non-captive contract, we can marry multiple opportunities together. No problem at all. The problem comes when somebody's securities license in the broker-dealer. Usually they're captive to a broker-dealer. And from our side on the WFG platform, when you get a new membership agreement set up, one of the questions is, are you securities licensed? And if so, you need to move that securities license over to the platform within 30 days. So what does that mean for you when you're out there marketing and talking to people? Well, number one, if somebody has a securities license, it's active with no book of business they're looking to place, wide open. You continue the conversation. If somebody has an active securities license with a book of business they're looking to move, continue the conversation. That's a yes. If they have an active securities license with a book of business they're not looking to move, that's the end of the conversation because it's just going to stay in compliance forever. It's never going to get approved, and it's a waste of time for both parties. So understand on the life side versus the security side the difference in what we do and what we offer and how that's looked at for compliance. Also, guys, if you've been here for a while and you look at where you started versus where you are right now, I'm not talking about in production and partners, but I'm just talking about the stuff that you've actually learned. Social media marketing, digital marketing, a lot of these things that a lot of us came in with really no background in, we're learning. And the incredible benefits of continuing to learn new things puts more money in your pocket, builds larger organizations, and it gets you to the independence of your partners a lot sooner because everything you're picking up right now is not only a benefit to you, but it's a great benefit to your organization because as you can pass down that knowledge, things speed up. The velocity of your organizational build out gets better. You're passing down a better end product to the partners coming in. If we can continue to do that, there's absolutely no limits on what we can do to this industry. So remember, carve out a little bit of your time each week to try to learn new things, implement those. I can tell you from experience that when you learn new things and implement them, probably not going to be very successful in the beginning. If you're the type of person that gets frustrated, you need to kind of check yourself and realize it's a learning process. You got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in, you got to put the testing in to see if this works or it doesn't work. I've got a few questions this week about blogs. Blogs are a great way to do that bottom of the pyramid, build rapport, trust, and credibility, because the more information that you have out there with your name on it, the easier it is for people to feel comfortable talking with you about whether it's, product stuff, business-related conversations. And a blog is just simply a website that you run where you're constantly putting new material in there. Also, a blog is a great way to create SEO for you, your business, whatever part of the side of the fence that you're concentrating on, client, partner, or both. A blog is a great way. If you guys have any, specific questions about a blog, how to set that up, what to do with it, why it's important, you can let us know. But it's essentially just your own website that you're feeding original content to that's going to build up over time, and it's going to establish, a level of expertise in your field. Also, I've got some questions about, lead generation, lead providers. I don't buy leads. Some of you guys do. But what I can tell you is a place like our Facebook closed group is a great way to discuss, or a great place to discuss, what's going on. If people are testing lead vendors, let us know what's going on. Let your partners know what's going on. Once again, if you got other people coming in your organization that are looking to actually purchase leads through lead vendors, and you've got somewhere where you can steer them that makes sense, reputable company with a decent closing percentage with a good return on investment, once again, that fuels organizational points. No matter if you are doing marketing for, your own or whether you're buying leads, you want to make sure that you keep track of what you're spending, know what's working and what's not working. And it's as simple as saying, hey, I spent X, this is what I made off of it, times 100. That's your return on investment. If you're getting a return on investment that's good, it's easy to repeat that and actually try to scale that. On the other hand, if you come across some type of a marketing project that you're working on or leads that you're buying and the return on investment is not there, it's easy to cut the cord very quickly. One advantage that you guys have, even if you're brand new, when you're talking to lead vendors out there, let them know you are part of and you are building a huge nationwide company, and we're looking to partner with vendors if it makes sense, if it's a mutual beneficial relationship. When lead vendors hear nationwide company, they're going to get excited about that, and you can use that to your advantage to try to get some sample leads or try to get some deeply discounted upfront leads that you can try out. So if you guys need any help with this, or if you guys have been in a while and you're using lead vendors, go ahead and put on the Facebook group what's working, what's not working. That's what that group was designed to do. Also, when you are out there purchasing leads, marketing for yourself, whatever it might be, one of the things that you can do as a consultant is the more money that you can make on these policies, the easier it is to reinvest in maybe some, more upscale leads. So the total account calculator, it's found at IUL Agent, is just a great way, or the total advantage calculator is a great way to sit somebody down. And if you get good at using this, it's very easy to see from the left-hand side of the column to the right-hand side the advantages. And when you add up all the advantages, and it's 3, 4, 5, pushing 7 figures, that's pretty startling to a lot of people. So once again, if you get good at what you do, good at educating the client and showing them the advantages of things like the IUL, premium goes up and your ability to reinvest that money into higher quality leads, is there for you. We've been talking about a few things, and I want to make this point real quick. We've been following the market over the last, 90, 120 days. And we've talked about some technical damage. We talked about some cracks in the market. You want to use that to your advantage. Use everyday news that's coming out about the stock market to your advantage, because you want to open conversations about downside protection. Right now is a great time to do that. Number one, if somebody is in their 50s, early 60s, they can definitely not afford a market crash, a long-standing correction, or a bear market. They don't have the time and they don't have the money to afford that. On the other hand, the younger workers, it's remarkable, but if you think about if somebody entered the workforce in 2009, 2010, they probably think the market only goes straight up. So this is an excellent opportunity for you guys to use the news that's coming out to your advantage to open conversations. Getting back on track a little bit, 12-week year. If you guys are participating in this, I hope you're getting some great stuff out of the WHAM groups. What you need to do is each day, just spend 5 quick minutes, review your weekly plan, confirm, adjust your daily actions, and mark off what's been completed. The weekly progress report is what you're actually supposed to bring to the WHAM group and discuss. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. We're not there to judge you. We're there to help you, push you, and all kind of in small groups feed off of each other's positive energy and push forward towards common goals. So make sure if you are in the groups that you're, keeping up with what you need to. If you're not in the groups and not participating in the 12-week year, you can still follow along and plan out daily actions. If you go into your day knowing exactly what you're going to do, probably going to be a successful day. If you wake up and you're not sure what you're supposed to do for your business on any given day, it's probably going to be a rough day for you. What I noticed, and this, I'm at fault of this too, is that in our WHAM groups, we talked about vision this week, and the vision for a lot of us is not strong enough. It's one of the most important pieces of the 12-week year, because the uncomfortable stuff the 12-week year has you actually, do and overcome. It's to push you to your goals, and your goals are there to create a vision or to meet that vision you created. My vision wasn't strong enough. Alana's vision wasn't strong enough. And most of the people in the WHAM group's vision was not strong enough. It's very important that you guys understand why you're doing this. Being an entrepreneur, building a business from the ground floor with absolutely nothing around you except for the infrastructure we provide is not an easy task. And on the day-to-day, in the trenches, so to speak, it gets rough sometimes. You get upset about something. You get depressed about something. You get really excited about something. So there's highs and lows What's going to keep you dialed in is that vision. Why are you doing this? Very, very important. And the things that you can't control, don't worry about. What other people think of you, really not important. What other people do, no bearing on where you're going. What happens around you, the outcome of your efforts, I know that's a tough one. That's a tough one for me because a lot of us come from a background where we close sales or we are building relationships for one or more variable reasons. The outcome of your efforts, that's just going to be whatever happens, the sorting process, and the only thing that you can control is, what you do on the front side. The passage of time's going to go regardless of whether you decide to do a lot, a little, nothing, quit, still going to pass. So let go and focus on what you can control and what you do today. So the things I can control, my attitude, my effort, my behavior, my actions, this is what you focus on. Things out of the control, don't worry about it. Things inside that circle you control, if you nail those things, it's going to greatly help your business and help your ability to lead, manage a great office that obviously or ultimately spins out a lot of digital agencies out of that. Remember, you could potentially have 30, 40, 50, 60 plus agencies around this country having sales come through, having revenue, having income, having partner growth. It's an amazing opportunity. And when you look at the 6 generations deep that you get paid, second, third, fourth generation can really add a lot to your bottom line. So how do you organize your day at work? Well, just like the 12-week year says, you got to put at the top tier the stuff that you probably don't want to do. And at the bottom tier, probably the stuff that you're okay with doing. Making a meme, posting in social media, that's all bottom tier stuff. It's important to have activity, but the top tier, following up, initiating conversations, picking up that phone, that's the stuff that you need to do every day. And if you get that stuff done and maybe some of the bottom tier stuff doesn't get done, that's okay. But if you flip-flop it and all the bottom tier stuff gets done, but that top tier doesn't get done, you're not going to find the growth that you're looking for. And once again, how do you look at this business? Are you going to be structured or non-structured? Are you going to be accountable? Or are you just going to, throw out some best guesswork about what you've done? And the structure, the daily rhythm of activity versus the non-structure, just random activity, just sprayed off in multiple directions throughout the week. And the accountability is the daily activity sheet, weekly spreadsheet, the WHAM groups versus your best guess reflection. Well, I think I did this. Well, if you think you did this, we know what the end result is. It's impossible to really know what the issue or problem is until you really get dialed in. And remember, if you are struggling or your partners are struggling, a lot of times it's personality defects. We self-sabotage ourselves. So those personal obstacles that we put in our own way, if we're able to understand what those are and get rid of those, this business becomes a lot easier. A lot of times we're our own worst enemy, and that's just, the way that we're wired. So understand what stands in your way, and if it's you, understand why and how to alleviate or correct that problem. You really want to go back to basics. And this is important because if you've ever been in a sales type environment and somebody comes in, they learn whatever they need to learn, the script or whatever it might be, and they're successful, very successful for a period of time, and they start to drop in production. It's because they feel like they've learned it all and they're going to start to do things different. So what you want to do, just go back to basics. That's the easiest way to run this business. And when you really look at the basics, I compare a lot of the upfront growth in your virtual financial business to a lot of what happened in the late 90s for the .com. Because in the early days of tech, it's impossible to evaluate those companies on, revenue and income growth. Stock prices were based on not the normal metrics, but they were evaluated on the traffic to the site. So if you take that and you understand how to grow a technology company, look at your company the same way. Traffic to your assets, recruits in the business is all you need to worry about. So if you got eyes on client-based material, partner-based material, you have enough eyes on that, trust me, the conversations will come out of that. And from those conversations, revenue growth, income growth, partner growth, and obviously organizational growth to get you to your goals. So your marketing diversification, like we just talked about, you constantly need new eyes and a new audience. That's the biggest problem I think I see with new partners is you're reluctant to really go out there and let people know you're in business. You feel like you don't know enough about the business. You want to learn more before you really go out there. The exact opposite. You want to go out there And because of the help that you have in this business from your upline managers and people beyond that, you don't have to know everything. You just got to have to go out there and have activity. We'll handle the rest. Multiple channels. Don't put all your chips behind one thing, because if that thing works for a period of time, you find success, great. But then if it changes and you're not finding success, you don't have anything to fall back on. Remember, it's the one-legged stool, it's not going to stand up. You need multiple legs of marketing channels to have enough leads coming from those different channels to keep you busy. And massage the relationship. And we all see how, adding value to somebody's life, whether it be educational, informational, entertaining, it helps to massage and build that relationship, which can help you on a much more warm basis introduce product or opportunity. We've got a world-class marketing system. We've got a custom-level enterprise CRM. We've got a 3D perpetual virtual environment. We're able to really extract value out of social media apps. We got no physical meetings, office, or appointments. We got an assembly line that allows people not to have to do everything, not to wear all the hats, pass roles off. You can market in most all of North America. Got an outstanding compensation package, an incredible business platform to absorb the growth, and financial and lifestyle freedom opportunities. This is basic stuff that we all understand, that we were attracted to, understand how to relay that message out to the open audience. This is in my opinion, the greatest business opportunity in America right now. I didn't say easiest, I said greatest. It takes some work, and a lot of people are unwilling to put up that work, or unwilling to put up that work for a period of time to let it compound. You're looking for partners who share our vision, but also have that grit, sweat equity, and perseverance to get it done. That's an important part. You can't just share the same vision. You have to be able to back that up with a work ethic. What does your product or business do? What does it solve? We always talk about this. If you can put yourself in the other person's shoe and think about a perceived problem and then offer solutions in a way that actually makes sense to them, doesn't matter on the backside what you have, that's how you open conversations. So there's a lot of problems out there people are dealing with. What do you do? How do you solve those? And how do you get that over to them in a message that makes sense? I was talking to a partner yesterday, and it doesn't matter who you're talking about. This is a basic formula. If I can do something without having you do this, are you interested in blank? So, for example, if I can show you a way, if somebody's already in the industry, if I can show you a way to put more money in your pocket, add client services, open a virtual division at basically no cost without changing anything you're doing right now, are you interested in learning more? Same thing go with, single parents, married couples, people in retirement, all of these things. If I can blank without blank, are you interested in blank? That's the way you can talk to anybody in this marketplace. And it demands a yes or no question, which allows you to funnel the conversation. You don't want to just, like a dog chasing its tail, keep having follow-up conversations with people that never go anywhere. Also, on LinkedIn, remember, it's a great place to approach talent, but you also want to make sure that you separate yourself from the crowd. So when you're looking at people, do they have similar past employment? If you're looking for X, Y, or Z, do they have experience in those roles? And if so, notate that. The more you can connect with somebody, the better. Do they have the right skills? Mention it. Where are they based? This doesn't matter for us, but it does build the rapport possibilities with the commonalities there. So understand the easiest way to have a good conversation with somebody is on the upfront, build the rapport, and establish trust and credibility as quickly as you possibly can. Guys, remember, back to basics, things to keep in mind. We can hire, train, and support in all 50 states. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, we're virtual. Well, how so? Oh, we've got a call center. We sell health insurance nationwide. It's not virtual. We are changing the way these agencies are built, operate, and managed. We can hire, train, and support in all 50 states. That's a big deal for entrepreneurs because it allows exponential growth without the associated fixed and variable costs. If we were to set up 30, 40 offices nationwide, brick and mortar, yeah, you're going to have to come out of pocket for a good amount of money. Also, a lot of people in the industry, as well as just in general, we're tired of driving around. So there's no physical meetings, offices, or appointments, work from home, anywhere with an internet connection. We talked about this, multiple roles we're filling. We're looking for top talent. We have management trainee programs to help with nationwide expansion. And once again, spreading financial education and spreading financial literacy is a big mission statement for the client side of our business. There's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. We call them crusaders. They can make money, build a business, but more importantly, put the people they come across in a stronger financial position by teaching them how money works. And once again, you get to build an incredible business that pays you extremely well, and it has a huge positive ripple effect on the people you come across to influence. There's no downside to what we do. No downside to protecting yourself. There's no downside to saving money. There's no downside to learning about tax-free strategies. There's no downside to coming in and having the opportunity to build a gigantic business in one of the biggest industries in the world. Back to basics, guys, what we don't have. This is as important sometimes as what we do have. There's no offices, no appointments, there's no conventions, there's no physical meetings, there's no gas to spend, no travel. You don't have to dress up and go out. There's no traffic. If you've ever owned business, the payroll hassle, no workman comp, no unemployment tax, no minimum wage, no employer tax, no payroll admin fees. There's no co-leadership or no exchange legs. Feel free to grow your business without the fear that somebody in the past or somebody is going to come up to you in the future and say, hey, you owe me this or that. Also, guys, when you're out there talking to people, most people don't think about their future. A lot of people in particular roles, they're just doing the day-to-day operations to get by, to pay the bills on a monthly basis to make it to the next month. So do you have to want to be out there doing sales 7, 8, 9 years from now? Do you want to be out there selling insurance at X years of age? You know, if people have been in this industry for a while, you know, what do they really have to show for it? What I find is that most agents in the industry, been around 10, 15, 20 years, have very little, if anything, to show for it. They've been on like that hamster on the wheel, just constantly going around trying to convert leads to sales, but hasn't done anything to build anything for them. So what do they have, and what's really your plan? This is back to the basics. And a lot of people out there, whether it's companies they work for, whether it's other insurance companies they work for, you know, how likely is it that you're going to receive, you know, my contract compensation? Very likely. The same thing as Bill Mitchell, Chris's, Mike Hensbart's. You know, all of this just shows you that the platform rewards two things: leadership development, entrepreneurial development, and hard work. You can have as much money as you possibly can imagine on this platform if you're willing to go out there and put it together. So our contracts are all the same. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, you have the ability to build something that's equal or greater as the next person beside you. So what does that mean for our company? What stops turnover? I'm not talking about somebody that comes in and 30 days later says, hey, you know, this isn't for me. Those people should have never came in the first place. What I'm talking about is when you get somebody to a point they find success in this company, they're not leaving. That keeps good people and it keeps talent. They don't have to leave because they're not working for anybody. They're working for themselves, and they're creating an asset that's going to pay them for potential decades to come. There are tons of places to go for personal production. And one note that I will make on this, even if somebody wants to come in and be a personal producer, you know, we're not going to say no to them, but their advantage of coming in the platform is we have a ton of support. A lot of people in the industry just get thrown out there. They don't get their questions answered. No one helps them. We definitely have inverse looking at it. We put a lot of value on the people that are coming in, and we spend time with them if they, you know, are willing to work. So we talk about how do you keep a top talent? Well, you allow them to make money, you allow them to build and foster the relationships, and you lock people in through ownership. You know why people job hop? They don't have any ownership. There's no reason to stay there. We give people a big reason to stay. And remember, when you're out there, back to basics. When people ask you, how do you make money? First thing you want to is, if you don't mind me asking, how do you make money right now? So you can understand their kind of frame of reference. But personal income, agency income, expansion income, and bonus income, you get 4 streams of income from here if you do this correctly. It's a huge opportunity for you. So understand how we make money and really understand for yourself what that means for you. Understand how to plug those. Remember, everything except for the bonus income can be figured out. So what do you want to make on a personal level? And it's important if you come in that you cover your expenses first. So whatever you need to do, that's pretty much the first step. What do I need per month to cover my expenses? And then from that point, it becomes easier to build an agency because it's a lot harder to build an agency if you've got financial pressure. So take care of yourself first, then start to take care of the agency building, and then understand what that means for you. You know, how many VPs, how many agency managers, how many field managers do you have in your office producing? And what does that mean for them? What does that mean for you? And then ultimately, you know, the franchise opportunity down here, what does that mean for you in the long run? 6 generations deep is an incredible payout. Also understand what it takes to get to the top level in this company. It's just basic math. To get here, which is executive vice chairman, you need 9 direct base shops, and you need $2.25 million in net points. Well, rolling 12 months, that means that 9 direct base shops, you need $250,000 in yearly production. If you divide that by 12, that's an average of about $21,000 per base shop. And regardless of how you chop that up, it's going to be X amount of policies. If it's an average of $250 per month, that's 7 policies coming out of 9 base shops. These are not pie in the sky numbers. These are not hard to hit. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but you guys can see to produce a base shop or to build a base shop that has this type of production, you know, it's an average base shop. Average base shop in this platform right now has about 20 policies being sold per month. So build 9 average base shops. And understand, back to basics, a lot of people out there, even if they want to compete with us in this virtual world, they don't have a platform like ours to absorb the growth. If you have hyper exponential growth and you can't absorb it in an orderly way, it's going to just come crumbling down. It's a house of cards. This IMO, the largest in the country, can handle it. It's very nice because I know that no matter how big I get, I've got a support on the admin side that can take care of it. Also, back to basics. A lot of people out there that have a practice think they have a business. And we all know the difference between a practice and a business, but this is a good way to flip conversations. So if you're talking to somebody maybe about the business opportunity and they're self-employed and they've got a practice they think is a business, they say, you know what you guys are doing is smart. I just don't have the time. You can always flip that conversation. Many people who have practices, it's usually 1 people or just a handful of people. And if that key person goes down, the business falters. So a lot of these people that have small businesses, have practices, it's important that they're protected, and it's important they have a retirement solution because not working for a company, not provided. So no matter how the conversation is originally open, learn how to have a conversation and steer it into whatever direction that you're looking for based on the information that you get back from the other person. For ourselves, we're trying to build our business and we're trying to build our assets. You've got to have a roadmap and you've got to have a map. No matter if I'm a client or a partner potential, we need a map. And that's what we provide. We provide a map on the client side. We provide a map on the partner side. A lot of the reason people don't get to where they want to go is first of all, really a lot of people don't have an idea about really where they want to go or how to get there. That's some of the things that you help them uncover in potential conversations is, what do you want? What would make you happy? And how are you going to get there? And if you're not on the right path right now, let me show you an alternate way, whether that's talking to a consultant for a free F&A or looking at some business opportunity videos that could potentially unlock and open up something that could potentially change their life forever. Remember, if you're contributing to a 401k, got to put money in there. If you have a 401k open, you don't put any money in it, 5 years later, you look at it, it's a zero balance, you're upset. That sounds ludicrous. Well, same thing here. You've got to put the time into Virtual Financial. If you're in this for 3, 4, 5 months, and you've done absolutely nothing and you're upset about where your business is, it's okay to be upset. You should be upset at yourself because without the time investment, this business is going to go absolutely nowhere. It'll flatline. You have a bunch of white space on your calendar. You'll start to doubt either your ability to do this, or you'll probably doubt the business model, which allows you to justify the reasons that you want to quit. And if you quit and look back on this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years from now, this company is going to be a huge company. Don't put yourself in a position where you're not going to take advantage of this time in history. And guys, you're always asking from your point of view, like, how should I approach? What should I be doing? We're all different personalities. What I do and what Alana does is completely different, but both of them work. So some things have to remain constant. You have to have good pictures. That's how you're getting introduced to the outside world. you've got to have good profiles, and you've got to have good messages. So the approach, strategy, method, and technique is going to be different for all of us, but some of those things remain constant. Take some time to get some good, decent, professional pictures for your platforms and your sites. One thing about Survey Hero that I want to make sure you guys understand is that if you're uploading email addresses and sending those out, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to see who actually filled that survey out according to the email address. If you're just asking people to do that with a link, you're going to need another question, and there are multiple questions to help identify, because if not, it's just going to be anonymous. I got some partners that are asking for name, phone number, and email address, and they're getting those in return. Some people are just asking for first initial, last name. Whatever it is, you've got to have something to tie that survey back to the respondent so that if it's appropriate to follow up with them, you know who it is and how to do that. We're always talking about opening conversations, and WealthWave has a report out, the American Dream Sticker Shock. I think it's $137,000 is the cost or the price tag of the American Dream. Conversations, hey, do you know how much the American Dream costs these days? Do you think it's out of reach for you? Hey, I'm going to send you a free report right now. It's a great way to follow up. Hey, did you happen to get through that report? What do you think about that? Do you agree with that? Any way that you can open conversations is a great way to open conversations. And a tier one, remember, the tier one is a systematic part of what we do, but the tier one in essence is just contacting people. You're creating awareness for what you do. You're potentially creating interest that leads to decisions and action points. So remember, it's the foundation. So if you're looking at your business and your business is not growing as fast as it needs to right now, you can, reverse engineer that all the way back to your tier one contacts. If there's not enough tier one contacts, there's not going to be enough of anything else in the flow system to get you what you're looking for. If you're having enough tier one contacts and the rest of it is not materializing, that's stuff that we can help you with. But if you come to us and there's not enough tier one contacts, that's going to be our response. You've got to get more contacts. You've got to get more conversations open, because that's going to flow through the rest of the system. Videos, clients, partners, all of these things. So it starts with, like we talked about early in this presentation, letting people know that you're in business. Prospecting. I've talked about this before. I don't come from a recruiting background. And what I found is that prospecting pretty much equals a beatdown, especially when you're doing something different that really nobody understands. It can be a cold and unforgiving experience. What you have to understand is that a lot of people just say it, make it up with the raw numbers that you lack in skill. Still going to be coupled with objections. So what you want to do is be very good at the upfront part of the system. Whether you know a lot or a little about what we do, confidence is what's going to steer and direct people to what you want them to do. You're going to have to learn how to effectively prospect. It's a skill that can be learned. So if you're coming in here and you're struggling with recruiting in the very beginning, guess what? All of us basically did, unless you're coming from a background where you did that in the past. So understand, it's a learned skill. You'll get better at it. And the more you do, just like anything else that you do in your life, easier it becomes. And then once it becomes easier, more confidence comes out on the phone, in your messages, and that's going to lead and direct people to what you want them to do. So we've solved the prospecting problem in two major ways. Number one, the way we prospect, the tools and the approach that we use, and the fact that we champion the cause of part-timers. If we had to have a full-time commitment, I would say probably half the people wouldn't be here. It allows people a bridge or an opportunity. If they want to make it over to full-time entrepreneurship, it allows that opportunity to do that with our help and the system. Same thing, if they're doing another business and they've got some hours they can devote to this, it allows them to build the business on the side. And then if they're in their other business, if they're at their job, we handle the things, and then through the CRM, you get pretty much updated real time through the notes what's happening there. So if you've got an empty pipeline, it's just because of the failure to prospect, and the prospect goes back to the tier one contact. So what you want to do for yourself and your partners is learn how to unleash your digital entrepreneur. One who is engaged aggressively or energetically in activity, cause, or conflict. We have a cause here to spread financial literacy and to spread the idea of entrepreneurship as a way to break out and create standards of living that people probably didn't think they could attain. You're going to change over time. And you can see 98 to 2017 with Jeff Bezos, 98 I sell books, 2017 I sell whatever the blank I want. This guy has changed dramatically. You think the confidence of running, Amazon and watching it balloon up to be what it is today gives you self-confidence? Of course it does. So when you've been in this business for a few years, you're going to gain the confidence. You're not going to be the same person. So you come in an entry level, and as you gain those skill sets and you gain that confidence, it's going to come out and you're going to be a dramatically different person. And this business and the success that you find can spill over into other parts of your life as well. So the actions to focus on basically every day: build your audience, engage your audience, and eventually sell your audience. If you do that correctly, it becomes a lot easier to sell the audience. And you really want to have the foundation of your online marketing business. You want to develop a vision and a personal development strategy. How am I going to get to my goals? You want to have a personal branding and target marketing strategy. You want to have a monetization strategy. How am I going to take this engagement, audience building, communication, and monetize that? And then you're going to have content creation and content marketing strategy, follow-up and engagement strategy, and traffic strategy. Your online presence and your online business is not going to happen overnight, but if you pick off little pieces here and there over the coming weeks and months, you'll start to see that that online presence starts to develop and things really start to turn for you. The 3 phases: you want to do your social media networking prospecting, then you want to build your personal brand, content marketing, and then and only then, when you really understand your audience, who you're looking for, how to find them, that's when you insert some money in there to scale your business. Once again, don't blindly throw money at this opportunity in the social media market. It's like a slot machine. It's just going to eat it right up. Also, when we talk about back to basics, this is going to be something that you develop over time. Your partner persona will be different from mine, but you want to have a background. Who am I looking for? What are some identifiers that I'm trying to find? What are some goals of the partner persona that I'm looking for? What are the challenges of the person I'm looking for? What are the demographics? How do they spend their time? And what's their interest? Once again, when you know who you're looking for, it becomes a lot easier to identify those people and speak to those people with messages that actually make sense for them. And that's why we always talk about the CEO 10 Club is really a learning curve. It's your first badge, because when you've gone through 10 people hires, you're going to start to understand who worked, who didn't work, why, and that helps you develop that partner persona to get stronger in the hiring process. When you've been in here a while, you're going to find that you change, because in the beginning, anybody who's willing to listen to what you have to say, you get excited about. Then you hire some of the wrong people and you get upset about it. You say, I'm not hiring those people anymore. And then you start to develop exactly what you're looking for, start telling the wrong people no, and start spending a little extra time with the people who are worth it to make sure they understand, how you guys are going to develop a mutually beneficial relationship and what we really have to offer from our side. I will tell you guys that when I came in here, if I look at I got a couple, like 2 in my mind, that out of the first 10 people I hired, 2 of them are really, really embarrassing that I wouldn't even give the time of day. So understand, you're going to make mistakes in the beginning, and as long as you learn from them, mistakes are okay. Engage your target audience. This is important. Once you've got the partner persona, once you identify where these people are, and you start to explore channels, platforms, groups that they're in, engage that target audience. That's where you want to spend your time. This is something that Alana and I struggle with as well, but it's something we're all going to have to get used to. Being in front of the camera, posting videos. I'm not talking about the videos we normally post about the business or the product. I'm talking about videos that have you in them, because that, once again, builds the know, like, and trust factor, the fact that make it personal. This is not a Hollywood production. Get comfortable with going live, get comfortable with producing videos about yourself, because people want to work with people they actually like. They're going to be attracted to the fact that you're putting yourself out there. And once again, the more they feel like they know you from these videos and posts that you do, easier it's going to feel for them to approach you with questions and open up conversation. The call flow. I've got this as a cold call objective, but really any upfront call, you want to move it from an interruption where I'm calling you, you're getting on the phone, it was an unplanned call, to an actual planned conversation or first scheduled interaction. Most of these calls fail because the other person on the other end of the line is trying to wow you. They're trying to, cram down as much information in the first 20 or 30 seconds as possible. That's very off-putting. All you're trying to do is just make a predictable process for you and the other person. And what you say in that first 20 seconds, it's going to create the flight response mechanism if you don't do it correctly. Ask questions, make it clear you're interested in helping them. And most people, like I said, if you don't do that, it's going to come off very off-putting, and people are going to want to exit that conversation as soon as possible. If you've ever been at a cocktail party or a dinner or any type of event where somebody comes up and only wants to talk about themselves, kind of want to find a way to exit that conversation because, it's just not that interesting at all. And this approach, if you do it incorrectly, the long-term toll wears you down. That's going to fuel call reluctance, and that just has a lot of negative cascades. Your worst phone call ever is always better than no phone call at all. So if you're on the phone, you trip over your words, say the wrong stuff, hang up, and realize, oh my God, I botched that phone conversation big time. Just learn from it. Don't let that cause you not to make the next call. Have a bunch of bad calls. That's how you're going to get better at doing this. Easiest way to get information is ask questions. So we always talk about some questions. I just want to reinforce this on a weekly basis. If you're asking questions, that A, shows interest in the other side, but it's also getting you the information that you needed anyway. So, what are they doing now? What have they been doing? What type of money do they want to make? All of these things allow them a chance to speak. And follow up. Another part of, I think, the biggest problems in partners that I see outside of the upfront problem and not letting people know you're in business is the ineffective follow-up. And we always talk about this. We put the statistics out there. If you follow up, it's going to separate you from the people who are unwilling to follow up, both in the size of your organization and the size of your paycheck. So understand that almost half the salespeople out there never follow up with a prospect. 25% never make a second contact, and 12% make more than 3 contacts. I resolve a lot of my leads around the 5th contact, so that's a good kind of evaluation for you. If you're resolving leads, kind of start to understand where they're resolved so you kind of understand where your sweet spot is. To be a great recruiter, you have to challenge conventional thinking. We have a disruptive company. We have a lot of innovation that unlocks a new value. We're new, think new. How do things look today, and what are the answers? What's the opportunity to better our life and the people's lives that we come across? Locate hard to find top talent. That's the number one way to prospect in a new way, is go after people that are already successful that other people aren't willing to approach. And number 3 is sales and marketing. Be good at what you do. Brand yourself with the perks of working with you on a personal level, but also our cultural values, the perks that we offer, our business partners, our clients. Number 4, turn passive prospects into eager candidates. Recruiting the successful, we just talked about this. Have them see the path that we can provide and want to be a part of. Even if somebody's very successful at what they're already doing, successful people know how to sniff out opportunity. And the opportunity to disrupt a multi-trillion-dollar industry is a lot. And it's going to be something that people will be willing to look at if you approach them in the right way. The ability to leverage data to their advantage. Know what you're talking about and keep it current. Once again, stock market seems to have some technical breakdowns here. If you're able to talk about that and open up conversation and communication, it can lead to a lot of end results. I'll give you a quick story. Alana does intro calls on LinkedIn. So she'll say something like, hey, if you're open to a quick 5-10 minute intro call to learn more about, I want to learn more about what you do, see if I can help you in any way. She just set up somebody with a consultant yesterday. The guy was, approaching 70 years of age. He's winding it down. He's not interested in a business. Alana read through that instantly, and she flipped the conversation to talk about what we do for the client side. We teach people how money works. We help them with free consultations. Well, the guy's got, multiple millions of dollars that he's potentially moving over here that could possibly be a huge sale for Alana and the organization just based off a 5-minute intro call. So once again, I know it's kind of hard to understand how to put the pieces together, but the more conversations that you have, the easier it's going to be for you to develop that repertoire, conversation, language, verbiage, start steering people into the direction you want them to go. Today's your chance to work hard. Be better than you were yesterday. 1% better than yesterday. You keep on that. You're going to be hard to beat over the long term. And this is a real concern if you've got people with a sprint track, you've got our business starting to be more known. Well, I'm talking to more people lately who understand what Virtual Financial is doing. You guys would not believe when we first started this, it was almost impossible to have a conversation, and no one, 0% of the people out there knew about what we were doing, had any type of a recognition of our brand. Where you're going to find yourself right now is that when we hit that viral point, when we have the exponential growth, if you're not doing what you need to be doing now, you could be potentially left behind. As entrepreneurs, we're constantly growing, get or better, or we're dying. So look at your business. You should always be growing. If you're contracting, especially in the early stages, that's a big red flag and a sign that you need to kind of, investigate what's going on and correct. Constant growth, ongoing training, learning, education, getting better daily, always being a student. As a leader, you should be committed to your partner's growth and education. If there's something that can help your partners get to their goals and grow their business, it's a core responsibility to push them towards success. As a manager, people are not always going to want to hear what you have to say. Truth hurts sometimes. Now, you can't come off like a condescending a-hole when you're explaining this stuff to people, but sometimes people need to understand what's going to help them, even if they don't really want to hear it. That's part of being a leader. And the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is not, it's not built around people who had 1 or 2 good seasons. It's built around people who do it well and do it consistently over a long period of time. You want to make 7 figures, you're going to have to do this consistently over a period of time until you reach that. And that is what we've got for today, guys. I hope you got some good information out of this. Sprint Track is all you want to be concentrated on right now. How can I open conversations that could potentially lead to partners and points? And then once you start really getting the recruiting going, it's going to manifest and compound on top of itself. A lot of entrepreneurs and the hires that we would call qualified, they're going to bring people in under them. Everybody's got markets. Entrepreneurs run with entrepreneurs. Insurance agents usually know insurance agents. If they're good qualified hires, they're probably going to have some people come in right underneath that. So understand where you're at, what you need to do, and understand you've got a lot of help and support from our side. Please let us know how we can help.